Hello everyone and welcome to a very special episode of the first hour with a video game. Mostly because I'm already breaking my format here 3 episodes into the series, which is probably ill-advised, but I thought it was worth doing because I'm looking at a brand new game landing in early access right now called Not For Broadcast, and it's been made by a small independent developer in Surrey called Not Games and being published by TinyBuild. And frankly, if it's published by TinyBuild, it probably means it's worth checking out before you even know what the game is, because they generally put out stuff that's interesting and different and inventive. And from what I've seen so far of Not For Broadcast, I've looked at some of the materials, the stuff that was provided by TinyBuild. This is going to be an interesting experience. And the reason I'm only going to do it for sort of half an hour is because, first of all, I don't want to basically play the entire game, because this is in early access, and therefore the full game isn't finished, and it's a game that's going to have a lot to do with FMV, full motion video, and basically it's a lot of sort of performance related content as well as a game element, which I'm sure we'll soon discover and get into together. But that also means about 4 or 5 minutes into the game I'm going to kill the game audio, because I don't want you to basically watch this game if it's decent. That doesn't seem fair, does it? I want you to check it out if it's worth playing. And from what I've seen prior to playing this game, it seems pretty interesting. And I don't think it's fair, if it's a game that's all about performance, that, you know, it's basically played for you. I don't think that's fair on the creators. So if you have a problem with that, fair enough. You don't have to keep watching this. But I'm going to go over to the game now. I'm actually, you know, already started it here. And yeah, let's get an idea of what's going on.
It's not hard, and I'm going to stay on the phone and help you. First, I'm going to give you a quick tour of the broadcast room, so if you're not doing it already...
So I already knew that this is kind of an idea of like you're managing a TV station live on air. That sounds pretty exciting to me. I've always been a big fan of TV. It's a weird thing to say. Who isn't a big fan of TV? But yeah, this is going to be interesting. It kind of gives me a bit of a... Oh, what was that game? The game all the kids like. Five Nights at Freddy's. That was it. The kind of like minimal interactive elements, but with a kind of a performance-related scare in that case. But I'm hoping for something different in this case. Okay. There's the buttons. 1, 2, 3, 4. That makes sense.
Now, have a look to your left. These plugs
here, power switches.
in the studio. I've left them set up for you, so provided you haven't fiddled with them.
Gotta say, I'm enjoying this presentation so far. Loving the voice work.
Once you've got the power on, face the front again. You can see on the broadcast screen that we're in the end titles for the show before us. Fortunately, they go on for fucking ages, so there's plenty of time for me to explain. Oh, right, okay, they're over, so we haven't got long now till the broadcast. Right, quickly, mate, look down under the desk. You can see
adverts! What should I go for, guys? What should I go for? I really wish you guys could suggest things. That one. Salad Weekly. Oh, that didn't like that. Let's try that again. Crazy Neil. Come on, Crazy Neil. You've got to get in that VCR. Everybody wants you, Crazy Neil. Get in there. Get in there. And this one, yeah. Exercise with ham sleeves. That sounds really disturbing. And like I said, I'm going to kill the audio pretty soon, I think, on this. And go to music. Just because it's FMV, it's performance, you know. That doesn't seem right, does it? I'll still talk about the gameplay and stuff and what I'm going through, but this is a different type of first hour with, you know, not just because it's not an hour, because I'm doing this for an early access game pre-release at the time of recording. But I'm playing around with the format. Please give me feedback, leave me comments. Let's get into this. Obviously, this is the like tutorialized introduction to the game. I'm yeah, I'm listening to Doug. You can't hear. But you can read the subtitles. I made sure they were switched on. Alright, let's start mixing this stuff. It's a bit strange because obviously I spent a lot of time editing videos, doing audio stuff, and so to be kind of... The presentation feels very realistic so far. Big time clock on there. You got your feed, the master feed, then you've got the live feed. You've got the different camera angles. And what's this coming towards me on the right hand side down there? Interference. Okay. So I have a sort of another interactive element with the scroll wheel here where I have to guide it through these blocks. Okay. Gamier than I expected that. But you can kind of see where this is going already, I think. Juggling, guys. Juggling. Yeah, you don't want to... I can imagine this is going to get complicated. There's a big red button down there that says censor. I'm going to bleep out the right language as well, aren't I? Counting down. Time to get the advert queued up. This is interesting, isn't it? Because the presentation here. So the advert's playing, but we can see and hear what's going on in the studio. So we get like a perspective of that as well. Like behind the scenes. I can see how that could get used as a storytelling device. That's pretty clever. I'm being taken through now how to cut together the shots, where to put the focus and things like that. Okay, some kind of handy rules of thumb. But it sounds like it's going to give me quite a lot of personal freedom. I don't know if you saw earlier, it graded me on that first segment of how well I did. So, gonna get like scorecards for how well you do. And at the top there, next to the clock, is the audience reaction and how they are enjoying things and how it's going. Coming back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I've already queued it up, so we're ready on camera 1. It's quite nerve-wracking, this. It's like, you know, you feel like you're really doing it. There we go, cutting the cameras there. Camera 2. No, sorry, camera 4 even. Can't count. Gotta say, Megan here, being the quintessential professional, considering this dude seems like a complete D-bag. Trying to stay on the speaker. Megan's reaction. So that it's quite hard to talk while I'm doing this, but I'm gonna try. And sort of another thing to think about while. Yeah, this is hard. But I was looking up some info about the studio, and they come from like a comedy theatre background, and you can kind of tell, can't you? They are gleefully having this up, but it comes across, you know, it can't be too subtle because it needs to telegraph to the player what's happening. You know, I think they understand their medium. They're dealing in video games here, so it's interactive. And therefore, performances need to be a bit larger than life. I think that's interesting. I think that's cool that they're doing this. It's different. It must have been a lot of fun to make. There are 3 levels available at the moment in early access, from what I was reading as well. I don't want to go probably further than the first level, the tutorial level. I don't want to give it away. It's one of those games, isn't it? It's like, once you've seen it or played it, is there any replayability sort of here? I guess you can mess around with how you cut the levels together, so that does make sense. But yeah, this is cool so far. I'm enjoying this a lot more than you probably are, because you can't hear what they're saying. Probably not the way to do this video, but I just don't dig the idea of taking away all of the kind of performance of a game. You know, what if this is everything the game is, and it's not quite everything, but it's a large portion of it. Seem to be doing alright with this cone. When do I get to use this? Oh, it's right there. I was going to say, literally, when do I get to use the sensor button? Oh, yeah, good, because I don't know how to deal with that. My tutorial person is telling me, don't worry. We'll get to that next time. God, this guy's such a D-bag. Yeah, Megan, we believe you. You're truly thrilled about this. And we've got interference coming in as well. So I'm going to have to now kind of manage the interference while... Oh, it's stuff going on behind the scenes. This is funny because I've got like 6 screens, 7 screens to manage here, and I'm listening to the tutorial. Oh, there's an archive. We'll be able to go back and re-watch these behind the scenes bits. That's interesting. So you maybe pick up more story stuff. So over the top. I love it. I love it. This is a lot of promise, this. Yeah. Dodging my interference. It's not moving at too hectic a pace, so it's quite easy to keep track of this. And the scroll wheels controls aren't well, they're responsive enough. You know, there's a bit of lag, but I think it feels in keeping with the setting. I guess I've got all these other dials. Look, you've got like in the middle their temperature and electricity ratings, and when you have to balance all of that and do everything else, it's going to be really challenging. It's going to be a real juggling act, isn't it? Oh, next advert. Got that ready to go. Yes, tell me how to bleep out swear words. Oh, I got A+ for that, guys. I suspect it's only going to get harder. Swear word. Let's go going out on the broadcast. You need to hold down the bleep button or the spacebar on your keyboard for as long as the swear word lasts. It can take a bit of practice getting used to hearing 2 things at once. Yeah, no doubt that's going to be difficult. You do have an option at the top there to replay the segment if you're not happy with your score. Give it another go. That's a good idea. Not sure what getting a good score gets you yet. I'm assuming there's some kind of reward or currency. So yeah, you can alter the audio levels there in the middle of the master feed and the live feed. Okay, back to number 1. Ready to come back to basically comedy news night. This is very British. I love how British this feels. I love how analog this all feels. The setting is this sort of alternative 1980s. So, it looks like we're going to be going to an outside broadcast, looking at the other screens as well. Politicians. Okay, you can't hear this, but the woman is... Oh, that's ring. The woman... That's quite easy to do on the spacebar, I have to say. I'm kind of watching the visual... Oh, wait, hold that. The woman is very much the Polish politician, but this guy here is kind of an oafish lout. This is sort of interesting. Oh yeah, 10 seconds. Need to switch between people, otherwise people get bored and they don't like it. It's very true. Except for the rich. For them the party's over. They shouldn't be celebrating, they should be putting their shitting pants on and opening their dusty checkbooks. Amazing language! I do like that. So we've actually, it seems like the way we're doing this, so this is satirical and dystopic, I believe, this game. So it sounds like the politics here on display is a dystopic extreme left party, which is not something you see that often, but it's just as likely to cause problems. Sounds like they're going to really severely redistribute wealth. Oh, that's going to win over lots of people, that. A lot of people would argue correctly, not the worst thing in the world. No more hiding wealth offshore, no more trust funds or creative accounting. These guys are going to be very hard. So, public school snobs. Oh, okay. Okay, they're kind of holding people to ransom, forcing people to sort of pay to leave the country. Wow, that's pretty extreme. The thing is, it's like knowing this game is in early access, and obviously there's going to be some seriously important trying to talk while censoring. Pretty important plot threads here. Kind of makes me want to wait now after I do this and just wait for the full thing to be finished, because it's going to have a very connected narrative, I suspect. It ends today. Sounds pretty strong words there. Strong words. I like his idea. Let's all go get pissed. Down with that. Very British. Fruity language. Also very British. I did my best at the beeping. Look, if it didn't work out, do not hold me accountable. I am very new to this. And the final commercial segment. Go. Oh great, and my dude has been helping me. Not coming back. Job's mine. He's done. He's not. You don't want to be part of this country anymore. With this new political party coming in. Maybe he's wealthy. Maybe he wants out before the trouble comes. Broadcast complete. Continue. I got an A for that one as well. Oh, look at that. Okay. Lots of like... Oh, okay. No, I didn't. I got an A total. I got C for the final sequence. Not the best. Got funds for it. Got money. So I'm guessing there'll be a way of spending that on stuff. Upgrades, probably? Or... I don't know. Cosmetics? Oh, okay. We've got some more stuff. This is the archive. he mentioned it, didn't he? We can go back and look at stuff. It's a good idea. It's a good idea. If you're going to tell narrative through those multiple cameras, trust me, you're focused so much on trying to make the show decent and, you know, as it should be, and get a good score. You're not paying the greatest attention to actually what is being said and what is happening. So being able to do this, you can go back. Let's watch a little bit of this. You can actually focus on it now instead of being like confused by the tutorial stuff. I wonder how many of you guys and girls watching right now remember what TV was like in the 80s. How you'd have these bits where the announcer would come on and actually run down the night's viewing. This was pretty common. This happens a lot. It used to happen all the time. I don't think you really get it at all anymore. And then of course, at the end of the night, they would turn it off. There'd be no TV. And there'd be, you know, you get the test card and then you get snow. And that would be it. It's mad to think about that now. We have 24/7 entertainment options, streaming services, Netflix and Amazon Instant and millions of others almost. We have Disney now and Peacock and all these other ones, CBS. But back then you had in the UK and you know, we didn't really have cable like in the States and stuff, and it was all, you had 4 channels, like that was it, and I think it was 3 before that, and then finally Channel 5 came along. But in the 80s it was mad how much has changed. But I guess that's a long time ago now, the 80s, you know, that's 40 years ago. I'm showing my age. This is Experience Kills. We are older here at Experience Kills. But I've really enjoyed this. There's a nostalgia element to this game. There's like you know, a really cool dystopic element that's clearly the ground is being laid for here, which I'm quite excited to see where they go with it. I know they're in early access. Their like early access brief was that they've got more levels to come out. I think there's 3 of 12. I think they're planning on. It's going to be an early access sometime, and they're also going to want to tweak mechanics based on the feedback they get from players. And right now, I can see the potential of where the juggling act is going to come in. The initial impression of Five Nights at Freddy's is kind of lasting because it's that static interface, and you feel kind of passive, but at the same time, I can see when you're gonna have interactive elements come in that will probably be able to shape people's perception of events as someone editing live television. You know, you're gonna have a lot of creative control, which could be very interesting if explored to its fullest. So I'm very excited to see what they do with that. I'm not going to show a lot more of this game. We'll go a little bit longer. I'm curious to see. I'm just popping through all these different post-level options we have here, but I am curious to see how they sort of connect the levels together. If there is going to be a more personal narrative about your character yourself, or if it's just going to be like in the booth. This is a really cool game. This is experimental in the extreme. Obviously a lot of work going in, and shooting all this FMV, filming all of these actors, writing all of this script. There's so much script here, which is a lot more than you see normally in a video game. So this is very different, but obviously they've really thought about how to make the idea of a relatively passive experience, i.e. watching television, into an interactive medium. They've really considered it. And they've created this idea, which is, to my knowledge, pretty much unique. I mean, we've had some interactive kind of narrative fiction, things like Her Story, and there's been a few FMV games of late made mostly by Wales Interactive, which is another UK-based group. Things like The Infectious Madness of Dr. Decker and Late Shift comes to mind, and Bunker, all by those guys. And they've all kind of played with interactive elements with FMVs, but in a more kind of choose your own adventure mode. You know, you just get given a choice. This feels like this is the next step. This is multiple choices with multiple POVs, you know, and you're quintessentially interacting because of the nature of editing live television. It's pretty cool, man. To me, as a geek and a fan of media in general, And, you know, who doesn't love nostalgia for the 80s? And politics right now has been very divisive, and I think, you know, playing on those sort of themes and stuff, it's cool. It's cool. Worth checking out. Just getting through these little bits and pieces here. Yeah, seeing this back, watching that there with the behind the scenes stuff, it's really cool. Add stuff to it. You're like, oh, if these characters are recurring, if they come back, going back and rewatching these bits will add a lot to the experience. And you can watch the adverts as well here. Right, let's hit continue. See what comes up next. Before I draw this episode of the first hour with, which is actually the first 30 or so minutes with, Not Games' new project. Okay, yeah, we do have an interactive element here. Okay. So the new political party has sent out a rather personal questionnaire to get us a sense of who they are dealing with. Oh wow. This is, yeah, you can see where this is going. This is an authoritarian state. This is not going to be a fun place to live in after very long at all. Yeah, basically a personality profile. Who's going to be the troublemakers in their new society, huh? What are they going to do with the ones they decide are troublemakers? I'm going to sort of start, well, I pick these choices and stuff and just coming towards the end here, start wrapping up. This has been Not For Broadcast by Not Games, a properly experimental and innovative take on FMV games. Like the presentation, the style, the writing. Never seen anything quite like it. I think it's definitely worth checking out, and I will be keeping a close eye on it during its development. Hopefully not too protracted, but it's an ambitious project, so you can see with all the shooting of all the FMV, it could take a while to put things together. I was basically just picking random shit there. Oh, we got some kind of more focused narrative here. Okay. Who's knocking up my window? So if you've enjoyed this video, if you thought this way of tackling this type of game was maybe a mistake, fair enough. I will take that feedback on board. I'm just trying new things. I just wanted to cover this a bit more than a very brief video and give it a bit more of an in-depth look. I think that's a good way of tackling early access games, but maybe ones that aren't as focused on performance. I just can't bring myself to basically, you know, video capture a whole game and put it on YouTube like so many people do in a Let's Play format. That's just not cool, because I think if a game is worth checking out, which I really do think this is, you should go onto Steam, onto early access. You should give them your patronage. You should spend the money, buy the game, check it out. Support the developer. These are a small developer from a small indie publisher. You know, they can do with that support. It will help them develop more games. It will help them to get this game finished and finished to the level that it could be truly excellent. This is good. This story stuff, like, it's pressuring me to make these decisions for Chris. I'm not sure what I'm going to do here, but I'm going to keep playing. But I'm going to wrap this video up here. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Please follow us on Twitter at ExperienceKills. Leave us a comment in the YouTube description, and a like and subscribe on the channel is always appreciated. So until next time with a proper first hour with, or a different review of some kind, I've been Ben, and I will be back soon.